It's hard to overstate, though, the significance of the Prime Minister's pilgrimage to Communist China and this gulf that's opening up between Australia and the United States under his government. Today, the official and very staged meeting between the Prime Minister and Chinese Communist leader Xi Jinping occurred. In a lengthy and somewhat sycophantic opening statement that was all the media had access to before they were ushered out of the room by Chinese officials, the Prime Minister stressed that this was his 8th visit to China and dwelt on how much time he was spending in China, 6 days, as we know, and of all the areas of, quote, common ground. He talked about free and fair trade. He talked about, and I quote, calm and consistent leadership. Calm and consistent leadership in an obvious rebuke to the current American administration.
With joint efforts from both sides, the China-Australia relationship has rose from the setback and turned around.
I note your comments in your opening remarks about seeking common ground while sharing differences. That approach has indeed produced very positive benefits for both Australia and for China. Australia values our relationship with China and will continue to approach it in a calm and consistent manner, guided by our national interest, but which we regard very much as a relationship being positive.
Now, I've been there when a Prime Minister's met the Chinese President in that very room. It's designed to intimidate. It's highly choreographed. And in those opening grabs, which our Prime Minister knew would play out here at home with a whole lot of interest and a lot of scrutiny, he deliberately made no mention of the detained Australian academic, nor his government's promised take-back of the Chinese owned port of Darwin. No mention either of the Australian divers deliberately harmed by the Chinese Navy, nor the Chinese Navy's recent drive-by shooting off the coast of New South Wales. And no mention either of the fact that China is such a trusted friend, so trusted are they, that I know the Prime Minister and his team will have left their phones and their laptops behind on their military aircraft because that's standard security advice when you enter China. And that at the top of all of this, we've got the world's largest biennial military exercises taking place in Australia, Operation Talisman Sabre. Some 30,000 troops from some 19 nations, all exercising in Northern Australia, together with ships such as the USS America and the HMAS Prince of Wales, and all in Australia and training in preparation for potential Chinese aggression. When Albanese put this date in his diary after the May election win, and it would not have been there before this, it would have been programmed with the department after he won, you can only conclude he did it deliberately knowing he would be in Beijing while Talisman Sabre was happening at home. A signal perhaps to Xi that we are not to be seen as the American ally we once were. Be that as it may, clearly the Chinese are very happy to use this visit and their relationship with Albanese to try and lever Australia away from the United States. And it would seem that Beijing's handsome boy is only too happy to play along. Today, the regime's mouthpiece, the China Daily, literally gushed over Anthony Albanese in an editorial headlined, "Common ground prevails over differences." The propaganda outlet said that Albanese's visit was, quote, sends a message amid the changing global landscape. It went on. Against a backdrop of rising tensions between the United States and many countries because of the US administration's recent threat to levy higher tariffs on them, Albanese's visit shows the Australian side has a clearer judgment and understanding of China than it had under the previous Scott Morrison government. The papers stress that Albanese's visit was, and I quote, a friendly gesture to ensure the positive development of bilateral relationships that, quote, serves the common interest of the world. Well, yeah, that's not right, is it? I mean, if the Prime Minister really does understand the reality that a world dominated by China would be much darker and more dangerous than the world we enjoy today, well, he's showing zero strategic awareness of it. In today's Daily Telegraph, the China expert, Dr. John Lee, warned that the People's Republic of China has spent enormous efforts weaponising some sections of the Australian Chinese diaspora to advocate for the PRC's interests and values. People's Republic of China, that's what PRC is. And that's to say it's tried to turn the local Chinese community in Australia into a potential fifth column. Lee went on and said this might have been politically beneficial for the Labor government, but it creates structural problems for social cohesion in Australian society and politics. He says that it's, quote, quite a radical departure to have a PM more interested in narrowing the differences with China than with the United States. You can say that again.